So we're about a week away from the heavyweight fight between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Drop your prediction in the comments. Do you got Joshua by stoppage, Joshua by decision, Ngannou by stoppage, Ngannou by decision, or a draw? Now, the only reason this fight happened in the first place was because Anthony Joshua looked stellar in his last performance, and despite losing, Francis Ngannou looked pretty damn good against Tyson Fury. That also coupled with the fact that Deontay Wilder couldn't get it done. But regardless, this fight happened in a record time. I did not think that this fight would get signed this fast. But anyway, let's break down the opponents. Now, both of these guys got a pretty similar athletic stature, coming into the fight around 6'5", 6'6" tall. The only difference is, I'd say Anthony Joshua will come into the fight weighing in about 240, 245 pounds, while Francis Ngannou will come to the fight weighing in around 260 to 265. So I think he'll probably have at least a 15-pound weight advantage over Joshua. Now let's talk about some of the pros for Anthony Joshua. I think that he is probably the more technical and fundamentally sound boxer out of the two. He has the better boxing skills on paper. Pretty good fundamentals, pretty average defense, a solid jab, pretty good footwork, and a tremendous straight right hand. Now for the cons. A lot of people question Anthony Joshua's gas tank, meaning does he have the stamina to go a full 12 rounds? Because yeah, he's built like a Greek god, but does that translate to you being able to go for 36 minutes long? Another one is his head movement, or lack of head movement. Now he has a pretty solid defense, but we don't really see him moving his head a lot. And that's the problem, is his chin is in the air a lot. And do you want your chin in the air for even a second longer than it has to be against somebody with the power of Francis Ngannou? I don't think so. People also question his versatility around the ring as well, as far as him being able to set up and counter punches. Now, I believe he could do those things better than Ngannou, but will it translate to later on in the fight? So I want to see a little bit more versatility from him in the ring as far as his variety of punches. Yes, we know he has a tremendous jab and a very, very good straight right powerful hand, but one thing I want to see out of him is more body work, and I want to see more hooks and more uppercuts, because you don't really see that a lot from him. The only issue with throwing a wide looping hook when you have Anthony Joshua's reach is it takes way too long to fall back, because if you miss, or if your opponent's punch gets there first, it could be detrimental to you. Now, as far as Francis Ngannou, he is a powerhouse. He is a tank. He is very solid. He is very hard to hurt. And while he might not be on the same fundamental boxing skill as a Tyson Fury or as an Anthony Joshua, his boxing skills are pretty solid. And one thing that we've seen in Anthony Joshua's past fights is, despite how athletic he is, he can be outboxed by somebody better than him. See both fights against Alexander Usyk. Now, I'm not saying that Ngannou is going to have the same level of boxing skill as a Usyk, but if he takes some of the game tape that he's seen from both of those fights, then he could possibly have a chance. But there's still a few questions about Ngannou's boxing game that needs to be answered. How is his head movement? How good is he at setting up counter punches? How is his cardio and stamina going to be down the road? Now, this might be somewhat of a hot take, but I think that Ngannou might have slightly better cardio and stamina than Anthony Joshua. But the main question is as good as Ngannou is, how good is he going to be down the stretch? Is he good with adaptability? Now, if Ngannou tries to go in there and execute a certain game plan or strategy and it doesn't work, does he have a backup plan? Does he have a plan B, C, or D? Or does he just try to go for broke and go for the knockout? Now, we've seen Ngannou training with the likes of Teddy Atlas and even Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson has been training him in the peekaboo style of boxing. Now, while that style is effective, it's usually only effective against taller opponents. And Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua are the same height. So how's it going to work when you have the same height and same reach as your opponent and you're trying to use a style that's used to get on the inside? Now, I think that Joshua does have the power to stop Ngannou, but it's only going to be a matter of, will Ngannou make a mistake? And as far as the other way around, Ngannou has more than enough stopping power to get Anthony Joshua out of there. But will he have the right strategy for him to do so? I think Ngannou's best shot at stopping Joshua, if he wants to go for the stoppage, would probably be within maybe the first 4 to 6 rounds. And I say if Joshua wanted to stop Ngannou, it would have to be later on. But I think that Joshua's best shot is to play a safe and sound technical boxing game. Basically do what he did in the second fight against Andy Ruiz. But who do I have winning this fight and how? I'm going to play it safe and say Anthony Joshua by decision. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.